Yo guys, what is up? Matt Wick here, and I am back with our first franchise mode that we're going to be doing, expansion mode that we're going to be doing in NHL 20. And as you can see, it's with, of course, our Seattle expansion team, and we decided to go with the Seattle Mariners just because the Maine Mariners had a very convenient logo for me to use. As you can see it kind of right there, not a big deal, looks pretty clean. My favorite logo for a Seattle franchise. I don't know why they haven't added a better one in yet. If you have a better one in mind, definitely leave it in the comments because this is the best one that I was able to find. But hope you guys are ready for this. Definitely leave a like if you're excited for this franchise mode. 50 likes and I'll put up the next video super soon. As you know, if you've been following this channel for a little while, I'm pretty lazy lately. So definitely anything to motivate me will help. Before we start, just because it's early in the video, I know a lot of you guys still hanging around, I'm going to show you the most important thing in doing one of these franchise modes that you need to set. Like, this is the number one thing. It's probably going to be the clickbaity title that I use. This is the most important thing when you're starting a franchise mode. First thing you're going to do, start the franchise mode. Go to League, down to Settings. I don't know why this isn't on by default. You're going to go to Rules, and then you're going to fucking slot on down. Actually, if you go up to the top, go to the bottom, it's going to be easier that way. Sim engine scoring. It's set on medium by default. You're going to want to change it to high. This is what's going to give you the most realistic scoring that you're going to see in the game. Like I said, I don't know why it's not on high by default, because from high, I've gotten the best results. You got guys like Connor McDavid. He's going to put up 100+ points as opposed to years past where he's only put up, like, let's say 70 points, maybe 80, 90 points if he's lucky. You're going to get guys like Crosby putting up a lot of points. Obviously, top-end guys going to put up a lot of points. So this is the biggest thing to pay attention to if you're starting a franchise mode, just because if you want the most realistic scoring, this is going to give it to you. Put it on high. But now let's get into this video, boys. We're pretty much only going to be taking a look at our roster that I have assembled for us. Like I said, this is an expansion mode, so I've already done the expansion draft, I've done the draft, and I've done the free agency. We're in the first year. We're ready to go. Let's go ahead, take a look, edit lines, take a look at our roster that I have set up for us. Our first overall pick, or I should say second overall pick in the draft, but our first ever pick as a franchise is going to be Maddox Fukafuji. We took him second overall. He is a center playmaker. As you can see there, very nice stats. Medium elite forward. Came out as an 83. Didn't grow at all during the offseason, so I don't know if that's something that changed. I haven't been able to play around with that a lot. Biggest thing to me, though, is that 80 face-offs. That is very exciting. Going to be very interesting to see what he can do. He is our first captain as well. I set him, he's the Sidney Crosby of this franchise. He's going to be a big guy. And we also have an Evgeny Malkin of this franchise, who I'll show you. He's not a center, but he's going to be Maddox's his right-hand man in probably about a year. We'll give him 1 year to develop, just because this new line chemistry thing that you guys probably see here is a little different, so I didn't put the other guy up, but I'll show you him in a second. But yeah, on the wings for Maddox, we have Patrick Marleau, who is always available in the first-year free agency. I could have assigned him to the team. Did he sign? I don't know if he signed with the Sharks or not yet, but I think he did. I can't remember. Leave it in the comments if you did. I'll look it up after this. But we signed him free agency. Kasperi Kapanen we got in the expansion draft. Pretty much all these guys we got in the expansion draft, aside from Justin Williams. Tried to also sign Joe Thornton, but I didn't give him a big enough offer, so he went to Montreal instead. So that's going to be our big first-year rivalry. Other than that, second line, Oliver Bjorkstrand, nice little player. 24 years old, medium top six potential, so we'll see if he can grow into that for us, or if we have to go outside and get someone who can fill that role. Eric Haula is a guy I like. He's our second-line center. He's going to be solid. I'm excited to see what he can do. And then Andre Case is a very nice guy that I could not believe was left available in the expansion draft. I almost felt guilty for taking him, but here he is on our team. He's going to be a stud. We got that nice +3 overall boost for that second line, so we'll see what they're able to do. Lawson Krause here. You can tell by the theme of our team. We got some younger guys. Some older guys in there, obviously Williams and Marleau, 40 and 37. But Fukafuji, 18, 23 Kapanen, 23 Case. Hollis, 28, so he's kind of in his prime. Bjorkstrand, 24. Krause, 24. Sisson's 25, so he still has a year to develop. Ernie 24, Mott 24, and Remielli as well 24. So we have a very young team. It's going to be interesting to see how they grow. We have some good guys in the minors as well that I'll show you in a second. But yeah, this is our starting forward group. On defense, we have obviously had to take him. I haven't traded him yet. I'll leave it up to you guys. Leave it in the comments if you want these guys to be held on to. Definitely Brent Burns I'm going to hold on to because he seems like he really fits the personality of Seattle really well with his hair, beard, and just the way he is. If you've ever seen him in any of the videos the Sharks do on YouTube, which I definitely recommend checking out. He is an interesting guy. Giordano. Grabbed him. He might be a guy we trade off just because 35 years old. I know Burns is 34, but like I said, I like him and his identity for this team. Giordano, we might trade. Gardner, I signed him to a one-year deal just because I forgot to assign him to the Hurricanes before I started this. But so we'll see if we trade him. Spurgeon is a guy I really want to keep. I know he has an extension, I think, after this one-year deal, so we're going to hold on to him. I like what he can do. Marleau as well has an extension. He's only 22 years of age. And then Samuel Girard, which I could not believe these two guys were left available. Girard, I believe, also has an extension after this. So Marleau and Girard are going to be guys that are going to be on this team for years to come. In goal, we're a little weak, I would say. Anton Khudobin, I remember in last year's, he once in a while he'd be able to pop off a good season if you did an expansion mode with him. I was thinking about grabbing Robin Lehner, but I grabbed, I believe it was Gustafsson instead, just because he's on a cheap deal, high overall defenseman, so I was able to trade him. I believe trade him and Ryan McDonough in our second, third, and I think fourth-round pick for that second overall pick to New Jersey so we could get Fukufuji, so I will take that. And then Eric Comrie as well as our backup, 24 years old, so we'll see what he can develop into. Other than that, scratch lines, we have Caleb Jones, who I got from Edmonton, and Thomas Vanek, who I signed in free agency. We'll see if we slot him in anywhere during the season. In the AHL, Maxime, oh man, I should have practiced this name, Teratikin. We'll go with that. Maxime, even better. 77 overall, medium elite. He's a depth forward right now, so I didn't want to toss him straight into the NHL since we had so much young depth on our team. So we'll give him a year in the minors to develop and then bring him up next year. He's a little bit smaller, but I'm excited to see what he and Fukufuji can do. Sammy Blast is a guy who I'm really excited about just because I signed him to an extension during the first free agency period. And I think he wanted like I think I gave him 4.9 a year for 3 years. So he better get a big boost this year. He's only a depth forward, so I didn't want to waste him or risk ruining him in the NHL just because we have Mott, who's a 78, who's listed as a fourth-line forward. So I figured Sammy Blast, guy we should leave in the AHL, let him develop for a year. He's going to tear it up with Maxime here. And then I signed Chicklets legend Jimmy Hayes. He deserves a contract, and I figured I'd get him on this team. Fourth line forward, but he ain't cracking our NHL roster. +3 overall boost for those guys, so we should see a big year from them. Michael Dow-Cole is another guy I got. I got Sammy Blast in the expansion draft as well. But Michael Dow-Cole expansion draft, Howrlook, and Hayden were all expansion draft guys. I think Hayden might have been a free agent signing. I can't remember, though. But yeah, other than that, we got some young guys on the team. Klimchuk, like I said, 24, 23, 24, 23, 23, 18, 23, 29. So Hayes might be a AHL legend for us. But other than that, going to be interesting to see how these guys develop. On defense, we got Samuel Morin, who we got from the Flyers, 24 years of age, so we'll see if he can crack our top 6. Matt Tormina, who is a guy, when I did my, I didn't record it, but I did an all-offensive team. He was an absolute stud. I would call this guy up to the NHL during the playoffs, and he would tear it up. So I had to sign him. I gave him, I think, a 3-year deal to hang out in the AHL for us. We'll see if we call him up at all, if we have any playoff runs. Jonas Siegenthaler from the Caps, 22 years old, 74 overall. Low top 4, but I'm excited for his development there. Julius Bergman, Ludwig Bystrom, and Dylan Blujus are the guys that round out our top 6. And then from the Penguins, I took Tristan Jarry, 24 years of age, medium starter potential, so we'll see if he and Comrie can maybe battle it out. next year for that starting job. We'll see. And then Dustin Tokarski is a guy I signed just as our backup. Other than that, scratch, nothing really too crazy. Holtz and Chris Connor. I'll let you take a look, too, at our coaching staff, even though I didn't change that at all. But it's always up, a signed scout. I'll show you this real quick, though, as well. So we got all our scouts assigned. Most of it gave us a double up in both of the Canadian and the SHL and Liga. What I like to do when I do this is in the Canadian and the Scandinavian leagues, I will put one scout on the top 20 for skill assessment, next guy, potential comparison. So that's the way I scout when I do these. Normally yields me good results, especially in years to come when I can get better scouts, like more top-end guys for those Scandinavian and Canadian leagues. Our coaching staff, if it wants to go down there we go. I didn't change these guys at all, although as soon as an NHL player who I like retires, I will fire our head coach and hire that guy and see if we can develop him up to be a good coach. So we'll just see. Maybe Justin Williams is a guy we can get to retire and add on to our associate job. But we do have some good associates. Teaching skill is pretty high. That's what I was most interested in, is to get guys with high teaching skills. Especially with how young our team is. It's something I was really interested in. And then for our AHL squad, I wasn't too excited. Just pretty much because of this guy. I really want to fire his ass, but our budget will not probably let me hire anybody else who's going to be better than he is. So I'll leave him there for now. Thankfully, we have a B- in there with Roman Prinos. But it'll be interesting to see how this works out. Haven't done too much experimenting with the scouts, so we'll see how that goes. But yeah, that's pretty much all I wanted to get into on this video. Future ones, we'll start getting into some simming. I'll probably get us up to the regular season, so we don't have to worry too much about looking at the preseason, although that's what it is right now in real life. A couple days away from the NHL, from the start of the season, so that's very exciting. Hope you guys are hyped too. Let me know your comments below if you've already done some simming in these GM modes, what your thoughts are so far. I've had some fun myself. I'm ready to get this season started off strong. Not going to be a lazy boy this year. Took last year off. I'm ready to come back strong. But let me know your thoughts on the game so far, boys. And let me know if you're excited, what your thoughts are actually too for the NHL season, where you think your favorite team's going to line up. That's the end of this one, though. Peace.